I think my life, again, with my career path I've chosen and family and kids and just life, it's go, go, go all the time, go, go. When I'm on a motorcycle, I'm not considering any of these things. It slows me down by necessity. It's deliberate focus. You have no choice. I'm happy if I'm just going slowly and I have time to go get a coffee. I am Jeremy Orvik. I am proud owner of 214 Halcyon 450. We are in Santa Cruz, California, on the west coast south of San Francisco by about 75 miles. As a line of work or career, I am an emergency physician. So it's a little bit confusing to most people what an emergency physician is. We're board certified emergency medicine doctors. We get the question a lot of, are you a specialist? What's your specialty? The specialty is emergency medicine. So in the United States, at least, if you go into an emergency department, you are likely to meet a board certified emergency medicine doctor or PA or nurse practitioner. So my line of work is emergency medicine. When a person comes in with varying complaints, our function is to determine is there or is there not a life-threatening emergency here, stabilize it, get it to where it needs to be, and then kind of move on. I have an older brother and a twin brother, and on a yearly basis, we trailer the bikes up to Yosemite. And because a lot of my bikes are old, they have a tendency to literally fall apart. I've had ignition switches fall off. I've had brakes just decide today's a day and then we're done. This happens a lot. So as practice, whenever we do the yearly Yosemite ride, we would bring an extra motorcycle because invariably one is going to break. And that's always worked out. In 2023 in June, I was up there and it was myself and my two brothers, 3 riders. And my older brother was going to ride one of the old Hondas. It wouldn't even start. So, okay, now we're down to 3 bikes, but that's fine. 3 bikes, 3 riders. And then I was on the BSA and it had been having problems for months. Turns out, ultimately, it was the coils had failed. So now we're down 2 bikes. And in the middle of Yosemite Valley, I was sitting there with my brothers. And I guess the crux of it is, for me, with the work I do and the responsibilities that I have, that everybody has once you have a family and all these things, this trip is a really big deal. I really look forward to it. And to have 2 bikes break down on this is the day, you know, I'm there, my brothers, Yosemite Valley, the weather is like this, everything's perfect, and both bikes fail. And we were all pulled over, now in front of the Honda that won't work, on the BSA that's not working. And I just had a moment. I kind of lost it. And my brothers were so gracious, they were sitting there just watching. They didn't say a word, they know better. They were just looking at me, just waiting for me to go through the stages of grief. And as I processed those stages and came out of it, the answer that crystallized in my mind was, okay, I'm almost 50. I need a bike that's gonna work. It used to be funny. It used to be funny when a part would fall off and and then, okay, now I'm gonna learn to rewire. I'm gonna learn how to do it. It was an adventure leading down a rabbit hole, leading me ultimately to be more knowledgeable about motorcycles and just in general. And that's been awesome. But there also is a time and place where you'd like to get on your bike, push the button and have it actually go. And hence the Google search of cool vintage motorcycle that will actually work when I push start. And the website popped right up. I can't speak to everybody, but getting to 50 was definitely a transition in my life. And wanting to not be the guy anymore who's fixing the bike on the side of the road and willing to invest in myself and do the commitment and the money and everything else to get a bike that's gonna work and gonna be reliable right when I'm turning 50, for me was actually kind of a transition, the dual-faced God, right? And I was looking at this going, man, this kind of makes sense. I'm getting older, I'm looking at different things in my life. I really wanted to have something that's gonna be fun and reliable so that with the time I got left with my friends and my family, I don't necessarily wanna be repairing wires. I wanna be doing what we're doing. So I ended up in Santa Cruz mainly because of surfing. I came to college here and started surfing at about age 20, 21. And surfing really became more of a definition than a hobby or anything else. It's when I finished residency, for the first time in 12 years, you're what do you want to do? You get to choose. The only thing that made sense to me was I want to go surf. I want to get out of Los Angeles, nothing personal, Los Angeles, and go surf. And so I ended up back in here. I do a lot of bonsai trees. Started my first tree in 2004. I tinker with old pocket watches. I love old fountain pens. I used to do a lot of photography. It's kind of taken a back seat to other hobbies more recently. And then of course, family, kids takes the vast majority of my time. When you work on bonsai trees, first off, you have to be very present because you really need to stop thinking the way I think and the way you think and whatever we do in our lives and other things, and you have to think the way a tree thinks. And you got to look at a branch and say, okay, that branch this year it might grow this much and it's gonna do buds over here, and do I want those buds over here? Do I want it going this way? You have to stop and think, and sometimes in the hobby you'll look at a branch for 3 months and then you'll go, okay, got it. And it's again, I think it was a self-imposed process or self-chosen process of reminding me that slowing down and appreciating things has a lot of inherent value. The first thing I ordered out of all the potential options were these eyelets, and that was for the Yosemite ride. That's literally the reason I was looking at that going Yosemite, because when you trailer bikes, you learn the hard way. And I've learned the hard way several times. So to have those as an option and have this is the spot where you know you can tie the bike down, awesome. The saddlebags, because I'm that guy and I carry around extra fuel, and I usually have an extra set of gloves if someone needs them or whatever else you might need. As far as the color, I think I've always liked the look of old military bikes, and this color seemed pretty close to that. And then contrasting it with the copper just made aesthetic sense. Why wouldn't you? So that was pretty easy. The gas cap in particular, I remember, and I've always been kind of into lore and stories about the gods and the history and having the Janus reference. I think my life, again, with my career path I've chosen and family and kids and just life, it's go, go, go all the time, go, go. And texting and Instagram and all of it, and it's great. But when I'm on a motorcycle, I'm not considering any of these things. I'm immensely focused not only on my safety and on the environment around me, but just on the experience of it. And it's not so important to me where I am or even the kind of ride or the environment. It's all great if I'm in a beautiful forest or I'm looking at a lovely ocean. But honestly, it's the simple act of getting on the motorcycle and of slowing down and of deliberately checking the tires and checking the oil and giving the bike a 360. And it doesn't even stop there. It's when you're on it, because you have to be so aware. Because you're a good rider is present and looking around, nothing else enters my mind. It slows me down by necessity. So my favorite ride is any kind of ride where I have a little bit of time and I can just go somewhere. It's deliberate focus. You have no choice. I'm happy if I'm just going slowly and I have time to go get a coffee. And the minute-to-minute experience of it.